viewers, how are you? Welcome to Wambox Tech channel. Today what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the simplest way of using a digital multimeter. We're going to use it to measure simple things, so that you can know how to start. It is for any electronic person. You need to have this meter. You can have a big one, a better one. Let's come in future. I want to get a very good one, but it's better you get a very good one because this is the first starting digital meter. So the first thing we're going to measure is continuity, and the continuity basically means a short circuit. So whenever you are shorting to something, you hear that buzzing sound, and you look at the meter, it will go, the resistance will go just onto 0 or 001. So you can use this to measure just continuity. For example, if a wire is, to know whether a wire is broken or is continuous. For example, this wire here, I want to measure, just put, and we see the continuity. Tells us that the wire is working very well. So if the wire is broken, you will not get any reading, and you will not hear the buzzing sound. That one is down. Now we're going to measure resistance. For example, here is the, if this diode, if you know this diode, for example, this diode is supposed to be 1000 ohms diode. So on the meter here you are seeing these readings. So we have 200 ohms, 2000 ohms. So if it is a 1000 ohms diode, you have to bring this hand here to point into 2000, because you know 2000 ohms is bigger than 1000. So the range is there. So you put the arm there, you get these two probes, and you get your diode, your 1000 ohm resistor, and you measure. You see, this one shows that it is supposed to be 1000, but because nothing is perfect, so it is 978 ohms, which is supposed to be 1000. If it is a 10 kilo ohm diode, you have to bring this hand to 20 kilo ohms, and you measure. If it is a 1 mega ohm 100k diode, you bring the hand here, because 200k is bigger than 100k. If it is a 1 mega ohm diode, you bring here, because this is a 2 mega ohm position. So now we are going to measure this voltage. Let us start with DC voltage. So we want to measure voltage. For example, for this battery I have. So if you have DC volts which is below 20 volts, for example 12 volt battery, you put here. If you have 100, 150 volts, 200 volts and below, you bring the arm here. If you have below 1000 volts, bring here. You have to take care. You don't use this meter to measure voltage that exceeds. It will just get spoiled. So that one, take note of it. For example, let us measure the voltage of this battery. This one is a positive lead, and this one is a negative lead. The black one is the positive, the black one is the negative, and the red one is the positive. So the positive goes to the positive, and negative goes to the negative. You see this battery is there, 3.2 volts DC. Now we have finished to measure that DC voltage. Same thing you do with other voltage. For example, now let us measure AC volts. If you want to measure 240 volts at home, we only, for example, for us we have 240 volts. So we cannot use this 200 channel. We have to use this 750 volts, because 750 volts is bigger than 240. So we put here, we bring the leads, and we insert. You see, that is 240 volts AC. Be careful, because that is dangerous. Now if we want to measure amps of a certain battery, we bring the lead here. For example, this battery of mine, I know it is around the 4 amps or 5 amps. So I bring the arrow to 10 amps, and then I change, because these leads here, this common here is for the negative battery, but you always move this positive one. So commonly this positive one is always here, this red one. But if you want to measure amps, don't leave the lead here, you spoil the meter. You have to move the positive lead here on the amps section. You see 10 amps DC, so you put the meter here, and it is always DC that you're measuring, not AC. When you put the amp there, you bring your leads and you measure. For example, if I want to measure the amperage of this battery, I just bring the negative to negative part, and then I attach the positive to the battery. I don't do it for long because it's like a short circuit, and you see it is measuring 8.5 amps DC. So this one is over 8 amps something. It's measuring 8.5 amps, 8.5 amps DC. So that is it. So if I want to measure the amperage being consumed by this bulb, I'll just put this one in series. I'll just get this, I'll just get the negative and I put it here. Then I get the bulb I insert the bulb here and the positive lead. Then I get this, I connect it here to the positive part of the bulb, and you will see the amperage that the bulb is consuming. You see the bulb is consuming 0.15 amps. I think that one is done. Now let us go to the other side. So if we have finished measuring the amperage, you have to change the ports of the digital multimeter. Now you have to change this to this. So now that amperage is done. So now we're going to measure if a diode is working or it's spoiled. So a working diode, as I told you, that a diode has both a positive and a negative side, so which is called an anode and a cathode. So a working diode, you bring back to the continuity side here like this. Then for a working, because this is the side, the cathode, and this is the anode, so you must bring these probes here. Red is the positive, this one is the negative, black. So you must look for the positive of the diode, and you put, because the diode has a marking here. This one is the marking, so this one is the cathode or the negative, this one is the anode or the positive. So you bring the leads and you put the negative to the negative and the positive to the positive. If it is a working diode, it will show you some reading. But if you change the leads in another way, it will not read. So a healthy diode behaves this way. If you change the leads the other way, the diode will not read. But if you change the leads in the correct way, it will read. That's how a healthy diode works. But a dead diode, it either never reads anything on both sides, or it just shorts, whereby if you put the leads, just shorts. So that one we are done. It's the same thing with an LED. We said an LED, if you put the positive to the positive, instead the LED will just light. You see, it will light. The LED will not read, but it will just light. If you put it in the right way, it will light. It will light. But if you put it in the wrong way, it won't light. So we are done with the diode. So how to test a good working transistor? For example, this is a TIP35C. It is an NPN transistor. So with an NPN transistor, you bring the positive lead, you put it to the base. So this is the base collector emitter. Base collector emitter. So with the NPN transistor, the positives, since it is NPN, N negative starts, so with the N you put a positive lead on the N, the negative. For this case, the N is the base and it starts here. Then you bring the leads here, it will be reading all through. I think you're seeing. Then here it will also be reading the base. This is the collector, will read the emitter. So with an NPN transistor, the emitter always reads higher than the collector. For example, here the emitter is saying 494 and the collector is saying 492. So yeah, that is it. But if you change the other way around, if you put, let me say, if you put the positive this side, it will not read. That is a healthy transistor. But if you start putting like you start putting the readings and then it just shorts, it just only gets shorts, or there are no readings, you know that is a dead transistor. So basically that is the common way of using this digital multimeter. But as we go ahead with our learning, we shall know more ways, but that is the basic way of knowing how to use a digital multimeter. Let me say I want to test this switch, the continuity of this switch. I will just bring the leads here. If a switch is really working, it will show some readings. When it is on, it will show. When it is off, it won't show anything. On, it will show some readings. When it is, you see, it is showing some continuity. When it is on, when it is off, it won't show anything. On, it will show readings. So basically that is the common way of using a digital multimeter. Thank you so much, my viewers. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much. God bless. Wait for another video.